Hey guys, welcome back to the Autonomy Pods. I'm here today with Beth, who is a client and a coach. She's going to go through, and we're going to go through her journey herself and her role with and struggles, but also success with being able to move into thinking about training from a strength perspective, and obviously looking at body image as a whole. So, how's it going, Beth?
All good, thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. So, do you want to just give the listeners an example of where you came from, how long you've been a coach for, what have you done beforehand?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm fairly new as a coach, an online coach, and a personal trainer. Um, I mean, I'll tell you a bit like of me about my journey and then go from there really. So worked for a bank. I don't know if I can say it, for like 9 years. As an analyst, so pretty much as a desk job, but absolutely loved training, and I got into training because I went to Australia on holiday, on a family holiday, and then absolutely hated how I looked. And I remember like my mum would get pictures of me and I'd be like, no, I hate it, like you could delete it. So then I just got to the point where I was just covering up on the holiday, and when I come home I was like, no, I'm not doing that um anymore. I want to like actually feel comfortable wearing what I want to wear and not be self-conscious. So come home, joined a gym, and then that was kind of how I started with fitness. But it was like pretty much the standard like girls like gym sessions. So just going to the cardio machines, doing about 4 classes every day. Like I would just be like, I want to lose more weight, so I'm just going to do an extra class. And I didn't really know much about nutrition. I was just carried on eating the same amount of food really, and used my fitness pal a little bit and didn't have a clue what I was doing. And then joined CrossFit, done CrossFit for a bit, didn't see my body change the way I wanted to with CrossFit, so moved on to bodybuilding, well, like bodybuilding style training, and that is what I focus on really now. But yeah, the reason I've kind of gone off tracks there a bit, haven't I? But the reason I got into online coaching and personal training is because in September, obviously in the UK, well, everywhere there was COVID, but my job got put at risk of redundancy, and rather than go through the whole SIFT process, I just asked for it because I was always like, oh, should I do it? Should I not do it? And I was always a bit like, well, why would people pay me to train them when there's so many other people that they can have like that would could do it? And um just was always too scared and didn't really believe in myself. And then that was like my chance to like actually do it, so I just took it. And honestly, the best decision I ever made. Probably earning more than what, yeah, I am earning more than what I was earning in the bank, and I actually love my job, so it's just a win-win really, so it's great.
Yeah, I see a lot of people who have made the transition maybe in the last couple of years, and they don't and never look back. You know,
No,
don't have to wear a suit with a tie, don't have to wear a shirt. I've never had to wear a shirt for a job ever, so I don't really understand it. But you don't have to dress up for it. You can just, well, and now that you're doing online, you can sit in your pants if you want to.
yeah, yeah, no, it is great, like, it's just hard, like, when you I don't no offense to people who do office jobs, but when I had the office job, um I was like obviously just going to work, doing like 8 till half 3, then I'd go to the gym, quite an easy, chilled life. And now, like, I don't know if it's my own fault, but like I actually forget like appointments, and not like appointments with clients, but like if I'm getting my hair done, like I forget that I've got that on, and it's just like so much harder running like doing this type of job. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
it's stressful.
yeah, no, there is a like when you have to go for another person's job, like another, you're working on someone else's calendar, right? You just know that you're going to be here from here, and normally your life revolves around it. I
Yeah.
think even during COVID, a lot of people had the issue where they're like, "Oh, now I own my own schedule," and then people were just like left, right, and center, didn't know what they were doing because even though they were working at NatWest or wherever they were doing, they were like, "Oh yeah, I might do it here. I might work here. I might work in the evening." and then by the time the day is gone, they didn't really know what they've done with the whole day. So it's always like, now you've got your own routine, you've got your own schedule. It's like it's a whole different ball game being able to run it.
Oh, it's mad. It's and I think at first I was trying to please everyone. So it's like, oh, they was giving me like, with like PT clients, oh, can you do this time? And I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then it doesn't really fit in with my day. I'm just trying to please everyone. But now I've kind of took control with that a bit more. So yeah, it's but I think you do that at the start, don't you?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. I think you have to, especially when you know you just like, all right, take the rough with the smooth. Like, yeah, if you want to do half an hour extra or half an hour after or 3 o'clock
Yeah.
in the afternoon, even though that I'm supposed to be at home or whatever, but do it as best as you can. You, so you said that you did some treadmill and some like cross training, and then you went on to CrossFit, and
Yeah.
then now you're doing some more, let's say, I don't know, body, can you call it bodybuilding training if you want to call it that. What do you think is the large difference between the two? Like, what are you getting out of your training right now compared to what you weren't getting out of your training when you were just doing the cardio or the cross trainer?
Um, I feel like my body's changed. Like that's like with the cardio side, like yeah, you lose weight, but your body doesn't really change. You just get slimmer. Like you don't really like. It's just you're just like the same person, but just smaller. If that makes sense. Like you don't build your glutes or you don't have like abs or like your shoulders. Like there's no definition, is there really, without doing resistance training. And when I went into CrossFit, I enjoyed CrossFit because of the community side and like you're training with other people. But again, it was just like no change, like a little bit of change, but not much. And with this now, I just feel like every week it's just going into the session. I'm like, I know what I'm doing. I'm just gonna try and get better at last week, or maybe the quality that I like of the rep wasn't great, so I'm just gonna focus on getting better at that rather than increasing the weights. And yeah, I just feel like I like the way my body looks off this type of training rather than the other type.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, when with that whole thing of like investing back in like the thought process of looking back at your training and trying to improve a little bit over your time, did you find it hard to get to the point where you're like, or find it easy to reflect back on last session and plan for next session? Is it something that you had to try with, or is it something that you just you gained just by because you were inquisitive?
See, like, I feel like obviously with the CrossFit, when I was in CrossFit, that was always like you want to get better, you want to get a better time, you want to get stronger. So I kind of always want to progress each week. But I think when we spoke this week, you were like, wait, you need to stop going. You can't keep going. You can't keep going. Like you're gonna burn out. So just maybe reduce the weight a little bit and work on the quality of reps. So I've never really, well, I do think about that, but it's hard not pushing yourself every week. But I didn't really focus on that fully until probably getting you as a coach. Was a bit like some weeks I go in and be like, oh, I can't be arsed. I'm just gonna move a comfortable weight. um, so it's good to have the check-ins, I think, and um I actually have something to aim in for my sessions, which I do now. Like I actually look back on how I done last week and be like, right, I've done 140 last week. I'm gonna go for the 150 or whatever this week and hit thrust or whatever. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's definitely something that is probably newer recently.
yeah.
I've
Does
always
it make you look forward to sessions more?
Yeah, it does actually. It's sort of, I wouldn't say all of the sessions. I absolutely hate one of them, which is that Bulgarian split squatting. I can't stand it. Like I actually feel a bit sick about doing that one, but apart from that one, yeah.
I don't think anyone's got a good relationship with Bulgarian split squats. So
No, definitely not.
no. And then from so that's like kind of training and stuff, and obviously that means that you get some outstanding numbers now. You're getting super strong, which is great. From like a food perspective, you mentioned about how you were on a holiday in Australia and you were like, okay, I want to change. I don't like the way I look.
Yeah.
What's been your like evolution from a dieting perspective or just like nutrition?
Okay, that's quite interesting. So, like, I can't really blame like that holiday in Australia. Like, I was living off like potato wedges and iced chocolate. Like, so we can imagine, like, you're not going to have the body you want if you're having that type of food, are you? But I think I was 19, so I didn't really have a clue what was going on, and I wasn't really bothered until I was put in the position of wearing a bikini and like, and then seeing all of like other attractive people in Australia with lovely tans. That was like the turning point. So, with the nutrition side, like as you said, I used I downloaded my Fitness Pal, did not have a clue really, but kind of taught myself that just tracking. And I was in my head, this sounds mad and it's probably a bit borderline eating disorder, but I was thinking, right, I'm gonna go to the gym, I'm gonna burn 1,000 calories, and I'm only gonna eat 1,000 calories on my Fitness Pal. And it was that's kind of like I was just restricting, and then come the weekend it was just like, I'm starving, I'm gonna go out and have a drink, and then it was just like a cycle. So obviously you see a bit of a change, but then nothing after a bit, it was nothing. um and then I think that was kind of quite a lot of years. I'd say like 3 years was in that cycle. And then I done something called RP Strength. I don't know if you've
Yeah.
heard of
Yeah.
which was really good, I think. But then I didn't really focus on doing the reverse diet, which they do. They say you go back, I think there's like 4 phases of it. And I never come out of the last phase 3, which is the cut free, and just kind of stayed on, like, I think my calories were averaging about 1,002 to 1,400 on that. And I just was, every time I saw the weight go up, it just scared me, and I was like, oh, I need to reduce my calories again, and I just never come out of the dieting phase. Um, and then I was just some weeks, and then I was like stuck on that, or I just stick or overeat basically and go on to maybe like 2,000, and I've just been in that yo-yo cycle really, and then yeah, that was it, and then come to you really. So but I feel like I've always been able to maintain my body weight because I'm a fairly active person. But I would always be a little bit scared if, you have like you see the scales go up, or your jeans don't fit. I would instantly be like, right, I've got to start another diet, which is not great.
But it's the most common thing, right? It's like it's not you alone. It's like yeah, there's probably lots of people listening to this going, yeah, that's what I do, or
Yeah.
that's what I've done before. It's really really common, and unfortunately, like the scale weight is one of those factors where I think you have that attachment with it, and you see it coming up. You're like, oh, that's bad, or that's good, that's bad, that's good, that's bad, that's good, and then you end up doing neither.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, and I didn't really have a goal. Like it was just like there was no goal there, so I was just like dieting, and then I'd be like, well, why am I not eating the foods that I want to eat? Because it was through lockdown. It's like I wasn't even going anywhere. Like, why are you bothered? Like putting this much stress on your body, like it's just not worth it. But I think obviously at the time, like there's nothing to do, so you're always on social media, and the only thing at the time was just to exercise. So yeah, mad. Um, yeah, it's so much better now. But I think the biggest thing for me is I always have a bit of a wobble when I have like this. I think I've spoken to you about it. The line on my lower belly, it like I have like a crease, and as soon as that like bit of fat starts to crease over on that, it just makes me feel like I'm that 19-year-old girl in Australia again, where I'm like, that's like my worry. But I am enjoying the process now. So.
yeah. So talk the people through where we started and where you are right now, and like what type of like headspaces you had to go through to get to the point where you are right now.
So I think, how long have we been working together now? I think, is it a few months,
Yeah,
a few weeks?
I think we're up to like 6 to 8 weeks, I think.
It feels like well longer than
Uh,
that.
yeah, and bear in mind, I think we spoke nearly every other day for every 3 days or something like that. So.
Um, so yeah, I think I kind of reached out to you because I was, I felt like I had no structure of meeting because of obviously doing PT and online. It was just like, there was no structure there, and I wanted to focus on my client. So I wanted to also do obviously the phase of maintenance and maybe going into a bit of a bug, because I'd never done that before, and I wanted to go through that journey for my clients so I could get the understanding. Well, what's it called?
Empathy.
Empathy for when they do it. So yeah, that was, what was the question again? I feel like I'm just going off track.
The question was, is like, what? So we've been working together now, maybe let's call it 7 weeks. What's the journey been going? Because obviously we're going for a meeting, right? So we're building body weight up. How's that made you feel? Like, I know you called yourself a flumper sometimes. Like, what type of journey is that?
No, it has been a hard journey. Like, so I think at the start when we first started, I don't know whether this was like a bit of reverse psychology, because I was like, Nathan, I'm a little bit bigger now, but I want to get back to 58 because I don't know why. I just feel me most happy then. And you were like, okay. So at the start, we were like and ahhing about what we were going to do. And then eventually I just thought, right, fuck it, I'm going to have to do it. So let's just go all in a bit. But I was very obsessed at the start and worried that my weight was increasing, even though I knew it was going to increase. It was a bit upsetting because I was like, oh, this is just, am I going to go bigger again? Or I was just, yeah, the mindset was just not great. And I think the turning point was maybe when you were like, right, we need to put in some fitness goals that like, well, we're training goals in there. So let's focus on just using the food that you're eating to fuel your training sessions, which was probably the biggest turning point for me, really. So it just meant that I wasn't really focusing on the weight or how I looked as much. It was more about performance, and that was definitely a big turning point. I mean, it has been a huge struggle. Like sometimes, like getting out of breath, even lifting sometimes. Like I don't know if that's an actual thing, but I've never, like when I was doing a hip thrust the other day, I could hear me breathing. And you know, when you're just like, oh my God, I'm meant to be a personal trainer here, and it like, is that normal or what?
I mean, you are hip thrusting like it must be like what 140 or 150, 150 kilos. So
Yeah,
if you weren't out of breath, I'd be quite worried. Uh,
yeah, it wasn't good. And then I was doing burpees the other day, and I was just like, oh, these are vile. Um, But yeah, no, it hasn't been great. Like I've had a few wobbles. Like I think as a personal trainer, I'm always in gym wear. But then when it comes to the weekends and I've got to wear jeans, like I had size 6 jeans in the summer. They were big on me in the summer, and I put them on the other day, and like I sat down and I thought that I was gonna burst out of them. They were that uncomfortable, and like I could feel every single seam on the jean. Like that was a bit upsetting. But I think you know, you just gotta, every time I have moments like that, I just kind of say like, doing it for a reason. Like, I'm gonna get the weight back off again. It's not like it's gonna stay on. And doing this now is just gonna put me in a better position for when I do want to cut and get looking leaner and get that definition back again. So it hasn't been easy. And like, even with the nutrition, it's like, I think at the start I was like, oh, I've got so much food to eat, so I'm just going to eat loads of shit. But then you just feel like shit. And now I feel like I'm in a really good place because I'm like eating foods that I like, but also foods that I know that are going to make me feel good as well. So, yeah, it's been a very like roller coaster, really, like up and down. And even now it's still up and down. Like yesterday I said to you, didn't I, that I was putting some knee boots on because I was going to a funeral, and they didn't fit me calf, and I was like, oh my God, my calf's actually getting bigger. Like it's just not a body part that I would want to get bigger either. But it's one of them things, like you gotta laugh at these moments, really, haven't you?
yeah, I think it's new. It's as a new experience. Like you'll experience it like full throttle. Like you built up a lot of years of resistance to probably
Yeah,
these moments. So like this last 7 years, that's 7 years, last 7 weeks has been like an accumulation of a few years of like building to the point of where if you would have done it a couple of years ago, it probably wouldn't be as bad. But because like, you build up that, it's the anticipation of like, oh my God, I've gained this, or oh my God, I feel that, or I feel this in my jeans, or I feel
yeah.
this. Like, oh no. But if you wouldn't,
Honestly, though, like when I was looking back at how lean I was probably after RP, like I was looking at the pictures the other day and I look ill. I think and at the time I was just like, I really, really want abs. And that was like my sole thing. Like, and even looking at that when I would took that picture, I was like, I just need to lose another kilo. And I think I look sick. I've got no glutes. And yeah, I don't know. I look tired. And I remember when I finished it, I was like, I just want to grow my glutes. And then it was like, I just thought I was going to be happy when I got abs, and I really wasn't. I
no.
think everyone thinks that goes through that phase when they get into fitness that, oh, I just want to get abs, I'll be happy then. And it wasn't, I wasn't happy. So it was a bit like, oh God, is this it?
Mm.
So that, like when I was comparing me pictures the other day, when I look back on them to now as well, like I feel like I look better even though I'm bigger. Like I feel I'm happier with my body now than back then. So that was something that I probably realized recently as well. So
That's a beautiful thing though. That's a beautiful thing overall. Like the fact that you're technically bigger, whatever that means. You're technically bigger in all facets, but you're happier. It's like a lot of
yeah,
people have that diet culture where it's like like you said, if you get abs, feel better, or I'm gonna be amazing when I get abs. It's like I haven't met anyone that's got abs and been infinitely better than being a 4 pack or a 2 pack.
no,
It doesn't really go down in more abs, more less problems. Actually, probably having a 6 pack actually means you got more problems, because you're tired, or
yeah,
you're not eating a lot. Like you said, you're on 1,200, 1,400 calories, relatively low for someone that is super active. But
mm,
you're not going to enjoy yourself on 1,200 calories, are you? Like you can't do anything with that. A couple of chicken breasts and a salad, and you'll be done.
it was bad. Like I didn't have any social life. Like when I was doing that, like it was like my ex-boyfriend was a personal trainer. So everything revolved around the gym. We didn't really go out. It was literally just work, gym, and like we didn't really drink. So there was no social life, there was no fun in it. And yeah, it was just not like, no wonder I was just a moody bitch all of the time. Like someone had asked me a question and look at them like, don't even speak to me. Like I was angry all the time. Like I was just horrible. Oh yeah.
I've been
Just
there, done
not
that, got
it
the
wasn't
feeling.
a good, it was, I think it's good that I've done that. Yeah, yeah. I think it's good that I've done it. I think everyone has probably got to that point if they've been a personal trainer. Um of going that low that you're just a crank, but yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think.
Tell me a bit about, or tell the listeners a little bit about what we're doing with like chocolate at the moment. Like, chocolate has been like a really important part of what we do. And I think for a lot of people this will resonate a lot, because when we can go into why this is important. But like, what are we doing with chocolate at the moment?
Oh, we're having chocolate every day. And we started with fueling it for the exercise, like me training sessions, because sometimes I train at like 10 or 11 in the morning. I couldn't face eating the chocolate then, so I have it at a different time. But um I haven't really spoken about the binge eating, have I? Because like after when I was doing RP, um I got into a really, really bad place where I was like literally binging. But I mean, like, I think some people think with binge eating is like, oh, I've just over ate a bit, but it wasn't like that. It was like where I was literally eat. Like I'd be standing at the cupboard eating foods and like not registering the food and then just be so tired and full and uncomfortable. But I was doing that for like a few weeks and I haven't done that for a long time. But I went to the doctors and didn't really get much help off them because they said because I was a healthy weight and it didn't look like I had an eating disorder, that they wouldn't really refer me. So I kind of had to do research myself on it and realized that I was not eating enough, so I needed to increase my calories, which was probably why I was doing the binging. But um, little habits from that have obviously stayed with me. So that's why you said that I needed to implement maybe having the chocolate each day and just getting used to it, which is, it has been great. Like just having that little bit of chocolate each day, it kind of um means that I don't feel like I need to, when I have it, that it's bad and I need to overeat on it as well, which is great. So
The reason why we did that was the hamper story, right?
oh god, the hamper one, yeah. So my boyfriend now gets a little bit carried away when he gets me presents. So I think it was Easter. So bearing in mind, yeah, just get someone one Easter egg, which is great, yeah. But no, he's just done me like a whole Terry's chocolate orange hamper. And I think it was amazing and like it was great and so thoughtful. But when somebody who's probably suffered with something like I had in the past, I would just remember seeing it and I was so anxious about it and messaged you straight away. I was like, what do I do? And not like previously I'd be like fuming that someone had even bought me something like that. Um, but like speaking to you, I was just, you like reassured me and just said, right, we'll just have a little bit each day. Like you're not going to get fat off having a little bit each day. So it was really, really good, and it just helped my mind, and it like changed my mindset completely on it as well, which is probably exactly why I done it.
Yeah, and do you know, actually the funny story is that I was in a similar scenario 4 years ago, but it didn't end the way that it ended for us. Like I went down the other end of the scale where I just like completely lost my absolute shit. Like it was 1 week before my photo shoot that I like the leanest I've ever been. Really
Yeah.
struggling, suffering so badly. Like I really didn't handle struggling dieting very well. And then I was in Dubai again, and that I got a hamper just turn up at the gym, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, who sent it? A girlfriend at the time had sent something, and I looked inside it, and I'm seeing like strawberries, the sweets from Haribo. I'm seeing like Twizzlers. I'm seeing like all of the drumsticks, like not sorry, the lollipops, the Chupa Chops. I'm seeing like bags and bags and bags of marshmallows, and I'm like I'm there like literally shaking because I'm like I'm super anxious about this whole scenario, and I'm like don't trust myself already not to eat it before the photo shoot, and like I'm texting
Yeah.
her, what the fuck did you buy me? And she goes, oh, so you didn't like it then? And then she got disappointed because I said, "What the fuck are you buying me?" And then she'd spent £150 getting it from the UK to Dubai, and however much the sweets were. And I was like, I was this ungrateful, mopey bastard who just like
Yeah.
sat there and been like, "Oh, woe is me." And I'd realized at that point in time, I didn't trust myself enough, and that's probably what larger thing out of everything is the representation of like you just don't trust yourself to be able to deal with it.
Yeah.
So that's how I learned what to do with yours is because it ended up again. I got an absolute tongue lashing, and I had to just take it from her because she's like, "You're ungrateful. You just I said
Yeah.
this, and it's your fault. It's your issues with food, not my ability to send you celebratory stuff." And I was like, "You got a point, but okay, cool. I'll take that one."
Yeah.
So, I mean, the theory behind it, just so everyone knows, is and the theory is that if you have it every single day, it takes it from a pedestal. So normally chocolate or sweets or digestive biscuits or whatever is on that like good and no kind of barrier where you're like, I want it, but I shouldn't have it because it's bad. But when those things are on the pedestal, you actually can't enjoy them because you're already worried about, oh, I could have the second one, or is it going to fit into my calories, or is it bad, or is it good? But if you have it every single day and you take the novelty away of something that you actually put on this pedestal, you just end up having it every day, and it becomes something of normal value. And then when you take that food out, so Terry's chocolate orange in this example, now Terry chocolate orange is something where you could look at it and not have a panic attack over that cherry chocolate orange because you know that it's going to be A, okay, and B, you're going to be okay about it because you've had it every day for the last however long. And it's the same, like if someone gave you a hamper now, you'd know you'd be able to deal with it. And I think that Christmases, birthdays, a lot of people's birthdays, Christmases, Hanukkah's, all of these celebrations, a lot of people are having these anxiety where they're like, someone's bought me something lovely, but I just don't know how to have it because of the relationship that they have with food. So I think it's really, really important to do that. But now you're in a scenario where you're having chocolate every day and you're in a good place.
Yeah. It's funny as well because like it's something that I would tell my clients to do, but then it's hard. Like that's exactly why I got you as a coach because I know it's easier to tell somebody to do it than to do it yourself, isn't it? Really. So, but yeah, it has worked, and now sometimes I'm like I don't really even want the chocolate, which is mad. But
Yeah.
yeah, I have got to that point now.
Yeah, no, that's great, and hopefully that type of stuff can stay during the next diet or whenever that happens. Because then when you can stay and you can do a diet whilst this happens, then you're in a much better place. That yeah, even though you're sacrificing and a bit more hungry, you're getting leaner, you're not giving everything up for it. And if some type of normality can stay during, get a little part of it, then it'll be just okay. But I think apart from that's
Yeah.
really all I really wanted to cover and talk about. Actually, just one last thing is when you're looking at now your training going forward for this next 6 months and into a year, how are you differently thinking about it? Like, is it now solely become about training? Like, is it now solely become about these big exercises that you're lifting, or is there a different goals like the longer term that you can see?
With training out, like with training, I think it's just always kind of just to be as strong as I can be, really. Like I think I've got a goal in my head to get 10 pull-ups, which I'm hoping that once I start my next cut, I'll eventually get them because I'll weigh less. It's a bit of a struggle when I'm like an extra 10 kg than what I used to be. So, well, I put four or five on with you, but um yeah, definitely just to be better. And then I do want to maybe build my fitness back up again because I do feel a little bit tired sometimes doing certain things, which isn't comfortable. But yeah, that's probably it. Really, I have in the back of my mind, I said I always wanted to do a marathon, but at the moment, I just don't think that's realistic for my body goals. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that'd be tough.
Mm. After growing your glutes, I don't think you really want to start running then, do you? So
Well, you want to
like
go
opposite
show off,
goal.
show off your glutes at least in Vegas, and then you can think about doing the marathon later down the
Yeah, maybe we'll see how we go.
line. Yeah. All right. Where can anyone that's listening find you on Instagram?
It's at Beth Wheeler _B fitness on Instagram.
Perfect. Great. Well, thank you very much for coming on the Autonomy Pods podcast. And I really appreciate you sharing the stuff that you have. I hope it helps a lot of other people that are in the same scenarios because I know that a lot of people do struggle with those things too. All right. Thanks very much.